This isn't a leak. This isn't a surge. When numbers jump 2,000%, there's only one word for it: invasion. For decades, all eyes have been on the southern border. It's the story we all know, the one on the news every single night. But while we were all looking south, something else was happening. A silent crisis was exploding along our northern border. In a quiet corner of the country, a place of dense forests and brutal winters, what used to be called the friendly border has become the new front line. This is the story of the Swanton Sector, and the numbers are almost impossible to believe. Hello, and welcome. Today we're going deep on a story that has been almost completely ignored. But it signals a huge shift and a critical new threat to our national security. We're talking about a tiny section of the U.S. Canada border. It's called the Swanton Sector. It covers parts of New York, Vermont, and New Hampshire. It's only 295 miles long, just 5% of the whole northern border. For most of history, this place was quiet. Border Patrol agents here dealt with lost hikers, maybe some smuggling. But then, everything changed. And the numbers are just staggering. In the year 2021, the Swanton sector saw about 360 migrant encounters, a manageable number. But by 2023, that number exploded to over 7,000. Let me say that again. From a few hundred to 7,000. That is a 2,000% increase. It has completely overwhelmed everything. The agents, the resources, the local towns, everything. So the big question is, why? Why is this happening here, and why now? To understand it, you first have to understand the land itself. This isn't a desert. It's thick forests, deep snow, and brutal sub-zero winters. For years, that harsh nature was the biggest wall we had. The main entry point for migrants used to be a place called Roxham Road, where people would cross north into Canada from the U.S. But in March of 2023, Canada shut it down. And when that door closed, the smugglers found a new way. They didn't just find a new way, they blew the whole thing wide open. Suddenly, the game changed. The flow of people didn't stop, it just reversed. Smugglers realized it was much easier to fly people into Canada, often without a visa, and then cross them illegally south into the United States through those unguarded forests. That remote wilderness became the path of least resistance. And who is crossing? This is the most shocking part. You might think it's Canadians. You'd be wrong. The data from Border Protection is clear. The vast majority, over 80%, are Mexican nationals. Think about that for a second. They fly from Mexico over the United States, land in Canada, and then pay smugglers thousands of dollars to bring them back into the country they just flew over. This isn't a random journey. This is a planned, funded, logistical operation run by criminal cartels. And they are exploiting a massive weakness. The Border Patrol agents in the Swanton sector are tough. They're trained for this wilderness. But they were never staffed for these kinds of numbers, not even close. They are completely overwhelmed. An agent who used to track one person is now facing groups of 20, 30, or even more at a time, all coming out of the frozen woods. Local police are getting calls in the middle of the night about strangers with frostbite knocking on doors, begging for help. And this isn't just about numbers, it's a tragedy. We're seeing families nearly freeze to death in the snow. One man was found dead. The cartels take their money and then leave them to die in the cold. It's ruthless. But beyond that, there's the national security threat. When you have a 2,000% increase, you have to ask the most important question of all. Who are we not catching? For every large group of families that Border Patrol finds, Who is slipping through the woods while the agents are busy? They call them gotaways, and smugglers use this as a tactic. They use the big groups of families as a diversion. It ties up all the agents for hours. And that creates a wide open window for dangerous people, criminals, or even terrorists to get through completely undetected. So let's break it down. It's a tactical shift caused by Canada closing one small road. It's a statistical explosion that has shattered the system. It's a security failure because the most dangerous people are the ones we don't see. And it's a human tragedy, being exploited by criminals. The word invasion is a strong one, I know that. But when a border is breached by a 2,000% increase, when the system is broken, when we have no idea who is really getting through, what else do you call it? The Swanton Sector is a warning. It shows that our border is a complex system, and when you squeeze one part, the pressure will blow out somewhere else. Usually, where we least expect it. While the politicians argue about the southern border, this crisis in the north just keeps getting worse, mostly in silence. This story is not over. This may just be the beginning. The situation in the Swanton sector is something everyone needs to know about. If you found this video informative, and you want to see more deep dives into the stories that really matter, then do me a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button below, and make sure you ring the notification bell so you don't miss our next investigation. What do you think about this? Is the northern border our new weak point? Leave a comment below. I read them all. Thanks for watching, and stay informed.